Hey guys, I'm back with another one. And I have the book. I'm back with my handy dandy notebook because this is going to be a good one. This is going to be one that I need my notes for just so I want to stay on topic with this one, okay? Now, today we're going to be actually talking about is ego blocking the love that you say you are wanting? Okay, so is your ego, okay? This is a accountability video for you. Okay, we're not going to focus on the other person. We're going to focus on you today. Is your ego, okay? And I've done this video before, but I recently just learned this lesson. So I'm here to teach it again or help you through this, okay? Because we're all learning together. Now, is ego blocking the love you say you want? All right. A lot of times when we're praying to God for something, right? We like, God, please send my person, send my husband, send my wife, right? I'm tired of being single. I'm tired of being by myself. A lot of times when we're doing that, okay, God is listening to you. Don't think that your prayers are going on, deaf ears. He's listening to you. He's hearing you. But sometimes we are in the way of that. Okay, we are in our own way of that. All right. So sometimes when we're praying for something, we don't realize the things that is in us that could be, quite frankly, blocking it from coming in, or blocking it from coming in, pretty much. All right. So a lot of times we have all of these rules, we have all of these things that I'm just so hard on this. I don't double text nobody, I don't call nobody, I don't, we have all of these stickler rules that we stick to, right? And it's almost like we're dedicated to these things that we put in place for, if it doesn't go this way, then whatever, right? Now, I've been like this my whole life. I've always had these set things that I just don't do, right? Like, don't double text, I don't call you more than once, I don't if I ended the conversation, then you have to start the conversation up, right? These silly things, like they're silly. Honestly, they're silly, but this is a real thing, right? And it all goes into ego. Okay. Now, a lot of times when you have all of this ego or all of these like rules, most of the time you got these rules because you might have been hurt, you was disappointed, you was betrayed, you got let down in some kind of way. Okay. So these things that you tell yourself or you live by when you're dating, it's not just there just for no reason. Most of the times it's because you were hurt or you were disappointed, and so you put these things in place to avoid that happening again. But I'm here to tell you, okay, that when you start to pray to God for him to bring your person, he is going to purposefully get you to break down those rules. He's going to get you he's going to soften you up, because you have to realize that when you are so hard up on what you think is how it's supposed to go, how can you truly be in a happy relationship if you have all of these, like, oh, I can't double call this person, or I can't double text this person, or if they don't call me, then we just won't talk. How is a relationship, a real relationship, right? What you're wanting, what you're desiring. You're not just desiring any old relationship, you're desiring your person, you're desiring, I'm assuming, lifelong commitment, right? So if you have all of these stigmas and all of these things, right, that you're expecting your person to live up to, how is that going to work long term? Okay, so we have to realize that we have to bring that ego and that pride down, and we have to allow someone to come in and love us. We have to allow that vulnerability to be there. And I know it's hard, right? It's very hard, because it's like, well, I was vulnerable before, and I got hurt, right? Or I opened up to this person and then they just did me dirty. Well, that's why discernment is very important. Okay, so I truly do believe that dating is off limits for me until I know, like, this is it. You get what I'm saying? So definitely, you definitely have to have discernment. You can't just be out here just giving your energy to everybody, because when you are opening yourself up to be disappointed, right? You have more of a chance to be disappointed. But when you have met somebody that seems nice, you've gotten a confirmation from God, right? Your discernment feels right. You have to take the risk, okay? Because if not, then my best advice would be to just stop dating altogether. If you're not willing to show up, like, authentically and vulnerably, and really allow somebody to see you, right? Really allow somebody to love you. Sometimes we don't know how to be loved. Sometimes we don't know how to accept the love, right? Sometimes the first thing we do is, when something seems right or something seems nice, we put our walls up and we say, nope, 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 you're gonna do me just like the rest. Nope, 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 this is too good to be true. But what if it's not too good to be true? What if this is your person trying to come in and love you, right? What if they're scared as well, right? What if this person has been hurt in the past and they're thinking you coming in to hurt them, right? So we have to realize that there's a beauty in being vulnerable. There's a beauty in opening up and allowing somebody to see you. And unfortunately, if that's not your person, if that don't work out either, then you just keep it moving, right? You have to continue to persevere if you really want love, okay? Because that's the only way. If not, then just stop dating. Quite frankly, stop dating. But my biggest advice is to not give your energy to the wrong people. I think a lot of times what messes us up is we're giving our energy and we're persevering with the wrong people. We're persevering with people that were never even meant to get past like the texting phase or the first date. We're giving people like that a chance, and we're trying to stick it out with the wrong people. So then when you get to the right person, now your patience is super thin. Now when you get to the person that's actually for you, you like, listen, I ain't got time for none of this, and that. Right? And we don't realize that when we have all of these things built up, we have these walls built up so high, it can kind of push somebody away. It can push the right person away. I've been on both ends of that, right? So I've been the person that pushed somebody away, and I've been the person who someone pushed me away. And I'm like, you know what? You got a lot going on. You got too much trauma. I don't have time to be breaking this down, right? And it's probably the same thing with me. Probably felt the same way. Like, listen, she got all of these rules. She got all these stigmas. I don't think this is right. And it is sad, it's unfortunate, because a lot of times we only do this because we love the wrong people, right? So I did write some notes down because this is very important, and I actually just learned this recently, because my mom kind of told me, she was like, Wisdom, you're stubborn. Like, she was like, you're very stubborn. And I didn't realize it until she said it, and I'm like, I am stubborn. Like, I will sit on what I believe until the end, okay? And I'm realizing that thing that I put in place is like, this is a hard rule for me. That is literally what's been blocking me from love. So, so I wrote, you fear being vulnerable. Most of the times when you have all this ego and all this pride, you're really just scared. You're really just afraid that, like I said, if you let somebody else in, they'll do the same thing, okay? Your ego, yes. So your ego literally was just all of that pride and that ego is just put in place. Like, look at it like this, right? Imagine if you were dating you, okay? And it's so funny because a lot of times God will give us the person that's normally our person, right? I'm not speaking for everybody. One shoe doesn't fit all, right? But I know for me, right? I noticed that he teaches me the most with someone who's just like me, right? So he's just like me. We do the same thing with each other. We both have a very hard time communicating. We both have a very, like, communicating our feelings. We both have a very hard time. We're both very stubborn, right? And so it's so funny because when you're on the other end of that, you're like, oh, this is what other people deal with me, right? So imagine if you dated you. Like, and he's so great because he always teaches us with somebody that's just like us. That's how he teaches. He will teach you with somebody that does the same thing you do, and then you learn the lesson. Like, oh, okay, I need to let this go. Now, imagine if you dated someone who was like you, right? Had all this pride, all this ego. If you don't call them, they're not going to call you. Or if you text them, they're not going to, like, just all of these silly, silly things, right? Or, they have to be this certain type of way. Or if they don't do this, then you know what? I'm just going to cut them off, right? Imagine if you dated somebody like that. Like, they would scare you away. You would literally probably be like, yeah, no, I don't have time for all of this. I'm just going to go on to the next person. So that is literally what is happening. Your ego is just there to protect you, but it can also start to affect and harm your relationships. Okay. Because like I said, you can push the wrong person away. So a lot of times I notice with the people who have the biggest pride and the biggest egos, they yearn for love the most. They want love the most out of anybody. Okay, so typically people who have the most pride and they have a really hard time like admitting that they want love the most. Okay, don't let them fool you with that poker face. They want it. Okay, they want it bad. All right, they just don't know how to admit it. And you know what's the beauty in you being vulnerable? The beauty in you learning to be vulnerable is you will give somebody else a safe space to be vulnerable back. So I've realized that, like, what lessons are we learning if you're being stubborn, I'm being stubborn, you don't want to do something, I don't want to do something, so now we're not getting nowhere. We're just sitting there, right? Sometimes you do have to be the person that sets an example and say, you know what, I'll take a chance. If I feel in my spirit, right, if this is right, I'll take a chance and I'll see, if I fall, will you catch me, quote unquote. Yes. So I wrote, but when you keep those walls up, you will never truly allow yourself to feel real intimacy. Oh my goodness, that's so true. So when you have all of these set rules in place, you are never going to allow you are never going to be able to feel real love, what it feels like to really love somebody, for them to love you back. Okay, sometimes we need, like I said, we need to be the safe space for somebody else to say, hey, it's safe here. I'm safe with you. Because when a person know that you aren't really the type to be vulnerable with somebody, and then you open up, if they really like you and they care for you, they will do the same thing. And then now you guys create a safe space with each other, which is a very beautiful thing. It is so beautiful and it's so refreshing. Because yes, I said there will always be some type of power struggle of never wanting to look like the weaker person. Oh my goodness. I feel like this has been the biggest thing that's always killed my relationships. But I'm happy it did, because those were the right relationships for me. So it helped. It helped when it helped, right? But the biggest thing in the ego thing, right, is that when you get with somebody that's the same, y'all will literally just be fighting over the power, because nobody wants to look like the weaker person. Nobody wants to look like I need you more than you need me, right? So it's like this matching energy thing, right? Oh, I'm gonna match your energy. I'm gonna match your energy. That is draining. That's not real love. You're not going to be able to maintain a long-term relationship if you are always trying to match the energy. Okay. Okay. So, yes, but true love is made only through real vulnerability. Okay, that is so true. I can just be done right there. Real love is only made when you're vulnerable with somebody. How can y'all truly love each other if y'all aren't vulnerable? You haven't done something out of the norm. That's how you typically know when someone is the one, because you do something that you normally wouldn't do, right? So let's say for instance, you might be a little bit more patient with this person, right? You might give a little bit more grace with certain things they might do. That's how you know you really like them, right? Or let's say with them, they might open up to you more. They might tell you like secrets or tell you things that they don't really tell people. And they might say like, wow, I've never told anybody this before. That's something they don't normally do. So then that's how they know they really like you, right? So it's like, that's how you know when you really have real love with someone, because you can be vulnerable with them. And they won't judge you. All right. So true love is made through real vulnerability. Okay. Because that's real intimacy. And a real ego would rather lose you than lose the control. Oh my goodness. This has been the story of my life. I will lose somebody before I lose myself. And granted, I ain't mad about that. Okay. So keep that. We're going to keep that. But what I'm saying is that when you find the right person in this, and God is confirmed, and this is it, you cannot afford to allow your ego to ruin it. Remember, the ego is only good to be in place for like the wrong people, all right? But not for the right person. The right person, you need to, quite frankly, throw that out the window and say, no, 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 this is it. This is it, okay? You cannot allow your ego to let the wrong person go, because you're so afraid to lose control of yourself. You're so afraid that they're going to do me the same way. Okay, and we got to remember, our mind what we thinking creates our reality. So if you're thinking that they're going to do you the same way, then they're going to do you the same way. Okay, but if you relax and you get confirmation, and God is like, no, this is who I have for you. This is it. This is it. Okay, you'll know. Okay, we have this thing called intuition. All right, that is the secret, and that is the key to everything. You will know who's for you. You will know when God has told you somebody is your person, and you will know because, like I said, you will start to do things that you don't normally do. But you have to be willing to let go. See, there comes a time where God is going to kind of test you. He's going to test what you have said you wanted. So you said, oh, I really, 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 really want my husband, or I really want my wife, right? He's going to test that when it comes to a time where it's time to put that ego aside. Right. So you never know. He might tell you like, hey, I want you to send this person a really nice message, or hey, I want you to approach this person. Maybe you don't typically approach people, right? And he say, hey, I want you to approach this person, right? He will test what you said you wanted. Okay. Because when he gives you love, what needs to go is the ego. When he gives you true love, what needs to go is the ego. Point blank, period. Okay. Ego and love cannot remain in the same place. All right. So there's either going to be a lot of love or a lot of ego. But either way, it's not gonna work. Okay. So remember, ego would rather lose a good thing than lose control over themselves. We need to throw that out the window. We need to rewire that. I'd rather lose the ego and get the love that I really want. Okay. I said ego is making love be, but the love doesn't grow. Yes. Love cannot grow in pride. Love cannot grow in pride. You got to let that pride go for the ego to grow. Ooh, I like that. You got to let that ego go. You got to let that pride go for the love to grow. I think that's what I just said. But yes, okay, it's time to release that. If God has called you to release that, let that go. Let that stubbornness go, that ego go, that pride go, all those rules, throw it out the window. We only use that for the wrong people. When it's the right person, because it kind of it protects you from the wrong love. It does, it really does. But when we get to the right person, we gotta let that stuff go. We gotta let it go, or we are going to lose a good thing, something that God is trying to bring into our life. Okay, so those were pretty much all my notes, and I think I said everything. Let the ego go so the love can grow. Okay, don't you want real love, real true love? Don't you want somebody to really see you and love you for who you are and be there, and y'all can love each other? One of the best things that God has given us is marriage, right? Marriage and being able to be in love, and they got you and you got them. That's the best thing that anybody could ever experience, right? And so, but we have to do our part. So God has to make sure that it's safe enough for us to have the love. He's not going to give us love with somebody that he has for us if he knows that we're just going to scare them away or we're going to hurt them. Okay, so because unlike these other people that God is saying no to, the person that's for you is not just disposable. Okay, so we can't just treat them like we treat the rest of the people. The person that's for you is not disposable. All right, so we need to let the ego go. Okay, stop allowing your ego to block the love you are praying to God for. You are saying you want out of your mouth, right? Stop allowing that to block it from coming in. It's trying to come, but you have to let this go. And it's going to be one of the hardest things you let go. Trust me, I know. But when you do, there's true freedom in letting that go. Okay, your true freedom in really being able to love. Okay, because it's nothing like it. There's nothing in really having real love. All right. What he say? What's that song? And he say, that is so good. How that song go? It'd be like, when somebody loves you back, and that's a fact. Hey, it's so good. Loving somebody. I ain't gonna do that, but y'all know that song. Okay, that's the best thing you could ever experience. When God do a thing, God bring your person. You gotta let the ego go. Okay, we say I'm talking about a 70-30, not a 60-40. I talk about a 50-50 love. Yes, okay, that type of love is different. All right, and it's gonna come if you just let the ego go. So I'm Wisdom. This is Wisdom Talks. Mwah.